So, whenever there's a recruitment, like, event, this is the one that where my, like, this is the one where I have to just sort of, like, go away for a while before I do it. Of Bajor. This is all out of order as well. This is completely out of order. It should be second wave of Bajor, Operation Gamma, Facility 4028, Boldly They Road. This order makes no sense whatsoever. Hail.
We've evacuated everyone we could to Bajor, and we're setting up a base there to coordinate our counterattack against the Dominion. I won't lie to you, though. It's not gonna be easy. We were caught completely off guard by Karakan and his fleet, and the Bajorans are none too pleased to have house guests. We must balance the needs of the civilian populace with those of the Starfleet and Klingon forces currently on the surface. Starfleet needs all the help it can get planet-side right now. Transport down to our staging area on Bajor. You'll find me there. Captain Kurland will join us as soon as he can.
It wouldn't be as bad if the majority of this mission did not consist of walls o text. That's the funniest thing in this game, like how TOS ships even have a chance in the 25th century. There was the old excuse from early on in the game's lifetime is that the TOS ships that you would get at Tier 1, the NX and the Constitution, were like built in the 25th. They weren't like from those periods. They were actually built replica ships, more or less, built to 25th century specs. That was their sort of like logical leap as to how those were available initially. Absolutely, now it's bonkers. There's like Tier 6 NX class ships flying around that shouldn't have a prayer. They shouldn't even have shields. And kudos to you if you actually fly an NX without shields. Because, jeez. But yeah, no, they should not have any chance whatsoever. It's like Jula. It's like Jula from like the Discovery stuff. She's in the 25th century now, and you were from the 23rd century. You're from 10 years before the time period you're talking about, Firefrost. She's from 10 years before TOS. And, like, how are you even a threat? Like, you are such a non-threat at this point. The only threatening thing about you is the people who follow you, who actually know what they're doing. You are a figurehead. Gotta get that roleplay dose. That is true. That is true. I am actually, like, kind of super... like insistent on consistency, which is why like I've got like I only really use like runabouts because that's the only like shuttle interior that we have in the game. So I want the interior to match the shuttle that I'm using, and I got the Galaxy interior because I want that to match. And I've got like I gotta actually hold up. Let me actually. I can do this. I can do this from the ground. Beam down to Bajor. But yeah, I want to like be using the proper stuff. That's why my character uses like the Type 3 phaser rifle, because that's a cannon weapon. If they bothered giving us the compression rifle from like First Contact, I'd be using that. Welcome to the city of Hathon. Commander Messia Chabe asked me to inform her when you would arrive. She's waiting for you in the office of the Starfleet base. I'll add the coordinates to your map. So yeah, this is where a lot of people's sort of enjoyment of the game dies, and that is because this mission is nothing but walls o text. Yeah, we'll go with white shoulders, sir. It is nothing but wall-to-wall walls of text. Hey, Flair, remember when this place had a day-night cycle? That was nice, wasn't it? I was talking about this on an earlier mission. Do you still talk to me? Can I still, like, push a button on you and you, like, talk to me? Because I remember you could, like, talk to these NPCs. Like, you would actually, like, click on them and they would say stuff. I mean, nothing terribly interesting. They're just NPCs wandering the map, but you could do it. You know, I'm like walking around on, let me actually, like, I don't wear this very often, so let's actually, like, just bust out the full, like, tunic.
Time is short.
Here we go. Welcome to Bajor. This will serve as our base of operations while we work to retake Deep Space Nine. I need you to give me your best here. Everyone needs to be in top shape for the counterattack on DS9. But before that can happen, we need to make sure this base is fully operational. We're guests here on Bajor, but the locals don't view us as that way. I added that as. That's not the way to say. I thought that Bajor joining the Federation would be a step in the right direction, but the Bajorans in this city seem to think that this is the second coming of the Cardassian occupation. It did kind of make the map feel alive, though I can see why they may have taken it out. A lot of excess server communication traffic. That is true. Be on your best behavior and try to do all you can to smooth some of the ruffled feathers. A civilian uprising is a headache I don't need. I'll have something for you later. Report to Lieutenant Jarrell Cav first. She'll know what tasks are the most critical. So begins the text. So much text. It wouldn't be as bad if this mission didn't just consist of tons of text. Like, I am all for, like, a breather mission that's mostly talking.
How can I help you?
Great to see you. We can use all the help we can get here. The attack on DS9 has put everything here into a tailspin. We're setting up a base to coordinate the campaign to take the station back, but it's slow going. This area of the city is older and doesn't have the infrastructure we need. Good thing we have talented officers like you who know how to whip up a few technical miracles. I was a security officer, Lieutenant Cav. I think you're expecting a little much.
Do you need something?
Let's see. Aggressive assimilation. Tell me about yourself. What's one more block of text?
I'm here to help.
I'm just glad to be here to help out. I was at DS9 waiting for the USS Tempest when the Jem'Hadar attacked. Tempest. Was that the name of that old ship class? Like that old, like, one of the Frankenstein ships that people loved so much? I think it was Tempest. That the command battle cruisers are basically like a final version of. Yeah, I think it was the Tempest. I evac with the station staff, and instead of sitting on my hands waiting for a rescue, I volunteered to help with operations here. That's what I do. Operations isn't the most glamorous station on a starship, but I help ensure that everything that needs to be done gets done, so the captain and the rest of the... I gotta feed that to a replicator soon. So the captain and the rest of the senior officers can concentrate on the bigger issues. And there are a lot of issues here. I'm Betazoid, so I can sense all of the unrest here. The DS9 crew are mourning their losses and uncertain of what to do next. Captain Curlin has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and there are a lot of Bajorans who just wish we'd pack up and go home. But that's what we're here to do, right? No one's leaving until we can take back Deep Space Nine.
I'm here to help.
Okay. There's a lot of hostility from the population, and unfortunately some of our Klingon guests have been responding in kind. We don't need trouble, but I don't want to get the militia involved. This should be something we can handle on our own. Could you go out and calm a few of these hotheads down?
I'm here to help.
Okay. Okay. It's a fun moment watching somebody play Star Trek Online for the first time, not knowing that the Tribbles will breed and fill their inventory. And then getting to be there when they find out how that works. Getting to be the one to tell them why their inventory is full. It's really sad we don't get any more inside ship content. From day one, that has been something people have asked for, is more to do inside ships. And at the most that they did was just sort of like, oh, we'll give you a few DOF contacts. It's like, no, it's not enough. You got to give us a reason to use these ships. I have always maintained that your starship should be your own social zone. Like, you shouldn't be forcing players into, like, these few social zones. You should have a few social zones that are large, that have lots of cool stuff in it, and then you should have players in their ships as their own social zone, able to get their day-to-day stuff done in. That's how it works in the franchise, and that's how it should work in the game. Let's see, breakup argument. You don't get to order me to calm down. Let's see. There's glory to be had elsewhere. You bring dishonor to the Empire. There's glory to be had elsewhere. Yeah. What do you do? I'm just trying to restore the peace. Normally working security here in Hathon isn't too difficult. We break up a few flights now and then. Mediate disputes between citizens and coordinate with militia command in the capital. Now, though, we're all working double or triple shifts, and it's still not enough. Bridge commander style interior-exterior switching and space movement. That is never going to happen in an engine like this. They would have to completely change the engine and completely change the game for that to happen. So that is a battle that was fought and lost a long time ago. I am a Klingon warrior. I will not be penned like an animal. Let's see. There's glory to be had elsewhere. Yes, yes, yes. You dishonor the Empire. You bring shame to your family. Fight the Jem'Hadar, not the Bajor. If I'm breezing through this and like not reading some of the text, it's because I've done this a million times and there's a lot of text. Yeah. Still would be nice that was actually a very fluid system. Yes, it was. Glory to be had elsewhere. Glory to be had elsewhere. We got a badass over here. You need to be fighting the Jem'Hadar, not the Bajorans. Jesus, that's a lot. Only downside was Safi. I don't know, I thought there were plenty of fun mods that took advantage of Commander Starscream. Wonderful. I'm more than happy to have help from anyone who is willing to lend a hand, but anyone stirring up trouble with the locals is just creating more problems. I'm glad you were here to sort it out.
I'm here to help.
Okay, conflict captains, studying soldiers. Let's contemplate captains. We have several holodeck training programs developed for the Advanced Tactical Training Program. That feels like one too many. That feels like one too many programs in that sentence. As an introduction to ground combat against Dominion opponents. This one will pit you against a changeling. It's unclear whether there is a changeling with the Dominion forces on Deep Space Nine, but it's always a good idea to be prepared. You can use the holodeck here to run the program. And remember, we have a lot that needs to be done here in Bajor, so choose the combat training program that suits your needs the best. Don't spend all day in the holodeck.
I'm here to help.
I live and work in a Galaxy-class starship. I have better holodecks than you. My holodecks aren't, like, next to, like, malfunctioning consoles. What can I do here? I can use the My job here is that I didn't ask. No! No. No! I hope you're ready to fight a changeling, lady. Because I'm starting this holodeck up. Right now. I'm stuck at the windows and escape pods. Part of the texturing process. I just can't bring myself to face the tedium. Some of those older Star Trek games, well, pretty much all the really good Star Trek games are the older Star Trek games. But some of them, it can get real dicey. I've actually been, like, working on, like, modding a little bit of, like, It is really dark in here. I've actually been working on modding a bit of Starfleet Command 3, and the amount of hoops I have had to jump through to get this crap running right have been insane. Oh, that was quick. Let go of me. Ow. Ow. You know, Kane, that's got an orbital strike. Just saying. And you missed. I'm hearing like grunts of pain from characters. I haven't heard that before. I've only started hearing that recently. Changeling. Yeah, that's new. I wonder if that's leading up to something. I wonder if they're adding something soon. They did say that an update was coming that would change the face of the game. Change the face of the game. I actually get real nervous when Al Rivera talks like that. Yeah, you can keep that changeling you captured even though it's a hologram. I fully intend to turn it into a security officer. End simulation. How far am I in that endeavor, out of curiosity? Polar and damage. Oh, it's polar and damage space. Oh, what the hell am I doing? This crappy thing. Crappy Dominion weapon. I guess it pulled a Moriarty, and I think therefore I ammed itself into existing. That was still on a holodeck. That was literally Moriarty just trolling people. As far as we know, there are no changelings with the Force on Deep Space Nine. Ugh, Force-sensitive changeling, that would suck. But it never hurts to be prepared. I run that program at least once a day. I don't want to know.
I'm here to help.
Scrutinizing Starship's fleet findings. Let's see. Small Jem'Hadar ships ranging from fighters to cruisers. Yeah, let's blow up a bunch of small ships. Yeah. We have several holodeck training programs developed for the Advanced Tactical Training Program as an introduction to space combat against Dominion opponents. This one will pitch you against small Jem'Hadar ships ranging from fighters to cruisers. I know you were in the battle at DS9, but you're going to be facing more Jem'Hadar before we retake the station, and you need to be ready for them. You can use the holodeck here to run the program. And remember, we have a lot that needs to be done.
I'm here to help.
I remember. Oh boy, do I remember. Combat training, small craft. Yeah. Listen, lady, what you do on your own time in the holodeck is your business, yeah. I do like that Deep Space Nine throws out all the pretense early on in the show and basically just says, yeah, most of the time people are using the holodeck for sex. They just out with it. Alright. Attract fire. I am alone here, so I don't think that's a problem. If I'm not attracting all the fire, then... Hello? Now, there was that one creeper who wanted a hollow image of Kira. That's a real resembling fighter. Just coming around. Yeah, that episode ended with Quark's head on Nana Visitor's body, which... The therapy is ongoing. With ship commanders like you on our side, I know we'll be able to retake the station.
Do you need something?
Thanks to you, we have everything under control here at the base. You should head out into the city to help the Bajorans. Colonel Kubis Pol of the militia has been asking for assistance. Find him, and he should be able to point you in the right direction. We couldn't have done this without you.
I'm here to help.
Alright. Time for more... That's... Aren't you, like... Shouldn't you be, like, primary? Did it make it primary? I don't think it did. Let's just, active. No, it did not make it primary. Oh, can't wait to see how badly this conversation glitches. Before that, though.
We have a situation here.
Welcome to Bajor. I wish your visit here could be under better circumstances. This whole Deep Space Nine situation troubles me, and having Starfleet here on Bajor has opened up some old wounds. And letting the Klingons come down too, that's just like dropping a plasma torch into a deuterium tank. What we need to do now is convince people that they're safe and that we have the situation under control. Occupation overreaction. There are a lot of people here who aren't happy about Starfleet establishing a base here and allowing the KDF to stay as well. Bajorans have always been touchy about outsiders, and the occupation in the Dominion War just made that worse. I feel it's bad, but I feel like saying that was over 30 years ago. Yeah. Come on. Now with Jem'Hadar and DS9 and you all here on the ground, those old fears are coming back to the surface. There's a protester by the fountain stirring up the crowd, and we'll have a riot on our hands if we don't put a stop to it. Talk to him. Don't violate his right to free speech and assembly, but maybe you can convince him that Starfleet isn't the return of the Cardassians. 30 years. This is what 30 years gets you. 30 years helping to restore this planet to before the Cardassians pretty much had their way with it and its populace in every conceivable way.
This is our home!
The Bajoran people will not stand for another hostile occupation. The Cardassians did enough damage to our world. We deserve peace, prosperity, and the right to govern ourselves. Starfleet does not want to occupy Bajor. So you say, prove that you don't intend to occupy this planet. Here we go. Bajor has a rich cultural heritage.
Bajor for Bajorans!
The first thing the Cardassians did during the occupation was to try and remove all sense of our cultural identity. With the Cardassians came, our artists and entertainers were forced to work as slaves. The rural way of life had sustained us for countless generations was destroyed with our farmlands. And when the Jajara caste system was abolished, our society was left in a disaster. Artists became soldiers, and soldiers turned into farmers and bankers. We lost knowledge that had been handed down for generations, and the people were left to struggle through life as best they could. See, artistic desires can never be destroyed, only suppressed temporarily. Artists will find ways to create. Let's see. The Bajoran religion is a key cultural keystone. I feel like touchstone would have been better in that.
We will not be slaves!
One of the worst side effects of the occupation was the loss of faith among Bajorans. We have followed the teachings of the prophets for thousands of years during the Cardassian rule. However, our religious leaders were executed and our monasteries were closed. The atrocities that we experienced made it difficult for anyone to believe in the prophets. Oh my god, there's a lot of text in this mission. What's even worse is that the emissary allowed the path to the Celestial Temple to be closed during the Dominion War. People turned to the Pa race in an attempt to have their prayers answered. If your Cardassians made you abandon the prophets, your faith must not have been that strong. The prophets never abandoned Bajor. Speak and they listen. Except for all the times they did, in fact, abandon you, yes. The Bajoran government is stable. They don't need us to tell them what to do.
For Bajorans!
The Cardassians were able to pit Bajoran against Bajoran by starving us and depriving us of our basic rights. Any small comfort they allowed us as a reward for being their puppets was treated like we'd won a lottery. Neighbor turned against neighbor, and brothers reported on their families. In the end, many people were labeled as collaborators when all they tried to do was fill their children's empty bellies. The Bajoran people were put in a terrible position. Some were forced to make difficult choices. There is no shame in that. If it's that easy to convince Bajorans to turn on one another, you would have done so even without the Cardassians. Jesus. Sounds like working with the Cardassians worked out for some people. Well, let's go with the first one. Bajor has a rich history, and its people have repeatedly fought for their rights.
We will not be slaves!
Oh my god. The Bajoran people have been fighting a war for so long we no longer know how to live in peace. The Federation rules us now. They may be kinder than the Cardassians, but they are still occupiers. Look at our history since the occupation. The Circle, the Konma, the Maquis. Thousands of our young people joining Starfleet to fight the Dominion and the Empire. Our only art now is violence. Let's see. Violence invasions past. I don't feel like any of these is the right answer. The freedom fighters of the past do not deserve to be called terrorists by you today. How dare you? Are you making fun of our society? I have no idea how to answer what you said. We appreciate that you are willing to share the city with us while we coordinate our campaign against the Jem'Hadar.
This is our home!
Many Bajorans were displaced during the occupation. Thousands died in labor camps far from their homes. And even if you weren't forced into the camps, life was uncertain. Did you know that when Gul Perak commanded the weapons depot here during the occupation, he executed 15 farmers simply for not displaying the Cardassian banner outside of their homes? We're already seeing this here. Starfleet and the KDF are taking over this section of the city. Soon, Bajorans will be pushed out of their businesses and homes to make more room for soldiers. We are grateful for the space Bajor has lent to us. All of the improvements we're making will be left as a token of our appreciation. Many of our facilities, including our sickbay and holodecks, are available for use by any Bajoran.
Bajor for Bajorans!
Land wasn't the only thing the Cardassians took from us. They treated us like animals. Thousands lost their lives in medical experiments or were permanently injured through malnutrition and neglect. The Cardassians didn't care if we lived or died. The only thing that mattered was that healthy Bajorans could process more ore. Our doctors have sworn an oath to do no harm to their patients. They will help anyone who wants to make use of their services. Bajor is a beautiful world. We have no wish to harm it.
We will not be slaves!
The Cardassian occupation took everything from Bajor. Our resources were stripped away with no regard for allowing them to replenish for future generations. This planet is nothing but a shell of what it once was. With careful planning, we can prevent further damage to Bajor and even reverse some of the long-lasting effects of the occupation. We don't want to leave a mark on Bajor. When we leave, we will leave your city as we found it.
This is our home!
Oh my god. Bajor was scarred by the Cardassians who stripped away her bounty, but what was worse was the complete lack of consideration for the environment. The soil, air, and water have been poisoned. Entire species of flora and fauna have been wiped out or irrevocably damaged. New pests with no natural predators were introduced, and now they're overwhelming native populations. Time heals all wounds. Give it another century. Shit. We can work together to right many of these wrongs. It will take time, but anything is possible. Oh my god. This book is not a New York Times bestseller, not even close, that I'm having to read in this mission. I heard some of what you had to say about those protesters. Excellent work. I think people will start seeing things your way. Oh, let's petition the prophets. Sure. The Vedic Assembly has agreed to allow you access to the Orb of Prophecy and Change. This is a great honor, but it is also a great responsibility. Many people want to know why the prophets didn't intervene to stop the Jem'Hadar from attacking Deep Space Nine. I know the prophets would never abandon us. They must have a reason for why they didn't act. It is up to you to carry their message back to us. They don't give a shit about you. I have long held the opinion of fuck the prophets. I do not like them. Like, there is no reason that they could not have simply spat these ships out. Ignore Kaiopaka standing there. That hasn't happened yet on this channel. There is no reason they could not have simply spat these ships out on the other side of the wormhole. Like, none of this had to happen. Use the Orb of Prophecy and Change. Why have the prophets seen fit to return the Jem'Hadar fleet to this time and place?
You are not grateful.
No!
We saved Bajor at the Cisco's insistence. It cost him dearly.
We moved the fleet, but
What?
we needed to put it back.
A hand that remains closed
ceases to be a hand.
The fleet needs to exist, as you must return.
Well, I petitioned the prophets. They handed me a bunch of cryptic bullshit. Oh, is this mission almost over? You should feel blessed. The prophets don't speak to everyone. I have faith in their plan for Bajor. You are an important part of that plan.
Peace and quiet. That's what we need.
Commander Acheb needs your help with communication. Speak to her and she can give you the details. I am not asking you all those questions because I am reading too much text in this mission as it is. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the regular duty uniform because I feel a bit overdressed in that long tunic. Is there anything else that needs to be done?
I have new orders for you.
We've managed to set up a subspace relay outside in the courtyard. I need you to try and pick up any translations coming from Deep Space Nine. We need intel. Anything we can learn about the state of things on the station will help.
I have new orders for you.
Alright. You didn't get someone to fix that? I'm skipping over a lot of text. There's a lot of like expository checks that I'm skipping over because there's a lot. This mission is very much pre, like, everything is voice acted. There's actually a lot of Easter eggs in here. Oh shit. Initiate communications. Would you like iced Ractigino or hot? Sweeter with cream. I don't know, some iced Ractigino sounds good. Accessing ops. You want to proceed? Who is this? Let's see. Oh, wait. Davo with Lita. Do you want to proceed? Sure.
Davo!
Let's see. Gigahertz. Private network 5492. Not Quark. Interesting that they didn't add him to this. Who is this? How did you find this channel? Hey, don't terminate this communication. I'm a friend. Oh, wait. I know you. I recognize you from earlier. You were trying to help that Jafari ambassador get a holosuite appointment. I like your style. I'm Hadron, the bartender at Quark's. This is my alternate subspace communication channel. I use it for business matters. Legitimate legal business. Sometimes I don't want Kurland and company listening in on my dealings, but that doesn't make them any less legitimate. Can you tell me anything about the Jem'Hadar on the station? They're terrible for business. There are a lot of them. They're mean. They don't eat or drink, and they brought Ketracel White with them. The Vorta with them has been in once or twice. Always orders tulip berries. Never talks and never pays. My profits are going down the drain. Hey, you are planning on coming back, right? Bringing the fleet back to kick these guys out. I need actual paying customers. I'll even give a discount on all drinks for the first hour after the station is reclaimed. Top shelf drinks excluded, of course. We are taking Deep Space Nine back, but we need your help. Oh, right. The Jem'Hadar Alpha is named Karukan. He's a real rough customer. The biggest and the meanest one of them all. He's got a Vorta with him. Her name is Loris. She's tough, but she hasn't gone out of her way to make our lives miserable. She's allowing those of us who didn't evacuate to stay, but only if we toe the line and don't give the Jem'Hadar any trouble. Honestly, how is a businessman supposed to make a living like this? The weird part is that they think the Dominion War is still going on. I heard Loris and Karukan talking. They expected an entire Dominion fleet to be here waiting for them and a changeling to be in charge. It's crazy. They've been hauling people in for questioning, and teams of Jem'Hadar have been tearing the station apart looking for this captive changeling. What happened to these guys? They get stuck in a black hole for 30 years? Thanks for your help. We'll return as soon as possible, but you need to hold on for a little while longer. Alright. That's an interesting development. I'll keep in touch with Hadron. Maybe he can get more information to us.
I had new orders for you.
I managed to contact someone on the station. The Dominion are looking for a founder, and they think the war is still going on. We need to clear up this confusion pronto. Maybe they'll be willing to leave the station peacefully if we convince them that the war has been over for decades. I think we're ready to contact DS9 and try to talk to the leaders of the fleet. I want you to be our contact. Captain Kurland will link in and assist you during the negotiations. By link in, she means stand there with his potbelly and get nowhere, but we'll see. Kurland needs to lay off the beers. Hail DS9, but then let me do the talking. I know you can handle this alone, but this is my station. It's my responsibility to try and get it back. Yeah, it's nice for Kurland that Cryptic removed the 4 other times you lost control of that station from the game. Yeah. There's a reason Failure Hero is under him. and on like his TV tropes page. Hailing Deep Space Nine on an encrypted channel. Putting it on screen now. Let's watch this cutscene break.
Who is this? What do you want?
Let's not be so hasty, Karu-Khan. They obviously went to a great deal of trouble to contact us.
You're very
I am
menacing,
Loris of the
bud.
Dominion,
Could you turn the lights on?
temporary governor of Deep Space Nine. How can I help you?
Thank you for agreeing to talk, Loris. I am Captain James Kurland of the Federation Space Station Deep Space Nine. It is my hope that we can find a peaceful resolution to this conflict.
That belt buckle.
Of course, Captain. You want your station back. But this is a war, and your station is my prize.
I know this will be hard for you to accept, but there is no war. It's been over for decades. Your fleet was diverted when you attempted to pass through the wormhole. The prophets... There is a great deal we have to explain, but please understand, we are not your enemies.
I am not a fool, Captain. We have reviewed the records in DS9's databanks. Why should I believe this fantasy of prophets and time travel? Show me proof that what you say is true.
Loris, I asked the captain of the USS Waglinde to join us today. Could you please step in here? Our esteemed Vorta would like proof to back up our position. Let's see. Current state of wormhole theory. Show video records from the end of the Dominion War. Sure. These are video records of what happened in the Dominion War after your fleet disappeared. I think reviewing them might be helpful. Okay, show video records. Doesn't matter what we pick.
The Dominion War continued after a combined Starfleet and Klingon force retook DS9. When the Romulans entered the war on our side, things began to turn. The Dominion recruited the Breen to their cause, but the disease that was attacking the Founders put them on the defensive. They ultimately retreated out of most of the Alpha Quadrant, creating a defense perimeter in Cardassian space. Soon after, a Cardassian official named Damar led a rebellion on Cardassia Prime, breaking the standoff. The Dominion was forced to surrender.
Do not try to deceive me. That cannot be what happened. Why should I believe these recordings are real?
Let's see. Involved in the war. Corroborate with records from other species involved in the war. Prove the authenticity of the historical records. Sure. Sure.
You make a persuasive argument. But I'm not completely convinced. Historical records can be interpreted in many ways. You may be using evidence that supports your premise, and ignoring anything that does not.
I don't care. Is there anything we can do to convince you to leave Deep Space Nine peacefully? No. No matter what you pick.
Enough! I will consider your arguments carefully, but you must understand that I am under orders as well. The Founders gave me specific instructions before I left the Gamma Quadrant. I accept that may have been many years ago. Nevertheless, mere time cannot countermand the commands of the gods. We are attempting to contact the Dominion in the Gamma Quadrant. As of yet, we have been unsuccessful. Until I speak to a Founder and receive new orders, we will remain here. Deep Space Nine belongs to the Dominion.
This went well. Thank you for all your assistance. Now that we know more about the current situation on DS9, we can decide how to best take a tactical advantage. There is only one end to the scenario. We retake DS9. There is no other acceptable alternative.